guys, welcome to episode 35 of Two Girls Chirping. My name's Lauren.
I'm Abby.
Today we're talking about week one of round 3, otherwise known as week 5.
Okay, this week we're talking about the conference finals and the PWHL final. We're talking about lots of things. For the people that watch our videos, apologies if it's dark. It's about to storm.
You might get blown away.
And our little light is doing the best that she can.
She's working overtime, okay?
Yeah, truly.
But also I'm having a really bad hair day, so this lighting is really doing it for me.
Also, if the footage looks better, it's because I got a new camera.
Also, if you're wondering why I'm wearing my McLaren sweatshirt, it's because Lando Norris is on pole for Monaco.
Yeah.
So if you're on pole for Monaco, there's literally no overtaking spots.
Yeah.
So as long as you don't crash,
Odds
you won the thing.
Odds are. Who's second?
I don't think. Because I thought it was Lando, Charles, and Max.
And for our IndyCar girlies, Robert Schwartzman is on pole
Our
for
rookie.
the Indy 500 tomorrow.
Our rookie baby.
Which is crazy. The last rookie who had never raced in the Indy 500 and won it was the one and only Alexander Rossi.
My king of my heart. That's my guy. He's now a father.
He is a father.
And I was right. It's Lando, Charles, which it's Charles' home race.
Yeah.
And then
he won last year.
Then I'm going to drop my phone in a dramatic fashion. Oh, I am a liar. I knew I was remembering my guys differently. It's Oscar. It's a McLaren sandwich.
Oh,
so
Oscar's
it's
third.
Lando, Charles, Oscar.
Yeah.
Sorry for the confusion. I am also confused.
I'm confused now, but we are going to move on to hockey.
Anyways. Hockey.
Rossi. Is that what you were doing?
Yes.
The Motorsport brain rot. I know we've already talked a bit about the IIHF. What else do you have?
As things stand, here's my recap on the week. William Nylander is playing for Sweden while all the other Maple Leafs are on vacation, and that's why he's built different. Also,
yeah, they're all
I love their
golfing.
uniforms.
I love it.
Yeah, there's like a picture of them at a country club golfing, and he's out there tripping on ice.
Yeah,
in the cutest little uniform.
Planted.
Yeah, he face planted, and then you told me that some reporter asked him about it, and he was like, I'm a bit rocky, so because I haven't been on the ice in a couple days, so I decided to eat some.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah. It was funny.
In the biggest upset of the whole tournament.
Did they turn it around?
No.
Oh.
Denmark eliminated Canada.
Yeah.
Olsen scored late in the third to win it. And honestly, what do you mean that's the last time that Flower and Crosby are playing together? And what do you mean that Flower's retired?
So I reject that. That's actually fake news.
Mm-hmm.
He will be back. He will help rebuild the Penguins franchise with Crosby.
Oh.
Mario Lemieux is also going to come out.
If the three of them can't get it done, who can?
Yeah.
Honestly.
They should just move to Birmingham.
But it was such a good goal. It was such a good game. I love to see an underdog win. And then I saw the cutest little clip of Pasternak like waving to his daughter.
It was
and then
so
like giving her a puck.
It was so cute.
Their uniforms are banger. Sweden knocked out Czech. Sorry, Pasternak. Enjoy your vacation. And then the U.S. knocked out Finland. Sorry, Hala. Enjoy your vacation. I don't even know if he's playing. I'm not even going to lie.
I don't think so.
I didn't recognize anyone on the Finland team, which is not to say that I watched most of their games.
I think most of the Finns that we know are playing in the playoffs right now.
I mean, 5 of them are on the Stars, and they were the starting lineup. So
yeah.
Those were the Finns I was watching. And then Switzerland absolutely destroyed Austria.
Really?
6-0.
I feel like they should be good.
6-0.
I don't know much about how good the different countries are at hockey, but I feel like Switzerland should be good at it.
Switzerland's got a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
The U.S. is just looking really strong. And also their blue uniforms are crisp. I want one.
Get one.
Then,
you deserve one.
You're right. You're so
Do
right.
it.
And then the only other thing I had to note was that the IIHF public TikTok released the cutest little video where it had the refs choose their favorite hand signals for penalties, and it was just so cute.
I love that.
I was like, oh man, they are just human beings, huh?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Oh, that's actually, I do forget sometimes they're human beings.
It was really sweet. That's all I have. We'll find out if I think the U.S., they They're strong. Would I love to see U.S. and Denmark? Yeah, that'd be fun. Have they ever played together? I don't know. In a final?
Well, now you can't speak English.
But I would love for Switzerland to win.
I have seen so many pictures of...
The Switzerland content has been top tier.
I've seen so many pictures of, like, Nico Hischier sitting in the box with the injured or scratched players.
He should be comfortable there. He did a stint in the regular season.
That was brutal. Okay.
I love him. That's my captain, but...
In case you were wondering and you haven't seen it yet, Team USA did win gold. Team Switzerland won silver and Sweden won bronze. For the bronze medal game, Sweden beat Denmark 6-2. It's feeling like the Panthers-Kane series right now. Sorry if that's hurtful. It's hurtful to me to say. But in the gold medal game, Team USA shut out Team Switzerland with Tage Thompson having the only goal in that game to win it for the U.S. Now on to the other tournament that we're following. Tournament. This is not a tournament. This is it? I don't know. The PWHL Finals.
It's not a tournament. Or is it? What even is a tournament? It's just a whole bunch of teams that come together and then there's one winner and then everyone goes home. Maybe it is a tournament. Petition to call this the NHL tournament and the PWHL tournament.
We will.
Approved.
So the PWHL finals are going on this week. It's basically the same setup as the NHL. But it's the best of 5 as opposed to the best of 7 games.
Yeah.
So it's Minnesota Frost, who is the reigning Walter Cup champion, and the Ottawa Charge versus each other. I'm having a great time. Personally...
Their games have been way more fun to watch than some of the playoff series.
Yes. Yeah, truly. I think that's why I'm having more fun. Also, like...
Maddie Rooney had an incredible save.
Dude, they're so good. This has been definitely a goalie series. Yeah. They have 2 of the best goalies in the league, which sounds like an obvious, but isn't necessarily.
It is not a given.
And honestly, I love all these teams. So, like, I want them all to win, and so I'm happy regardless. But both games so far have gone into overtime and been a 2-1 game. They played in Ottawa the first time. My little notes, oh, that's so funny. I said, I love seeing all their jewelry. The FIA could never.
I know, the FIA could never.
For those of you that don't know, in Formula 1 or any FIA-regulated motorsport, you cannot wear jewelry. Like wedding rings, earrings, nothing.
Which is so stupid. It's so stupid that several players put on all the jewelry they own for the next race when they announced that regulation.
All the players? Yeah, I remember Lewis Hamilton was
all
like,
the drivers
find me.
Did it.
He was like, I just got this piercing.
It's
not going to heal.
And then who was it? I think Lewis also wore like every watch he owned.
I'm pretty sure.
It was a lot. It was not a well-followed rule because that's stupid.
I also think Vettel was like, I'm wearing my wedding ring.
Yeah, like the king he is.
I am 98% certain that I saw someone on the Ottawa Charge bench wearing an Aura ring. And honestly, yeah. Get your credit.
Exactly. Make sure you start that workout.
Yes. High intensity training.
For real.
Also, if you listened to our PWHL breakdown, like our little 4-part series earlier this year, you would know that there's one player that is not well liked by...
She who will not be named.
By a lot of people. And I knew that they booed her every time that she had puck possession.
And I love it.
I guess I thought that fell off a bit because I haven't been able to watch a ton of PWHL games this season. But no, I always know when Britta Curl-Solani has possession of the puck because they're booing.
In these times?
She actually plays for Minnesota.
We don't fuck with her.
No, we don't. I also said in game 1, there was a barber shop that they had set up in the parking lot giving people mullets outside of the arena.
Absolutely not. Immediately no.
Love that for you, but that's not for me. And earlier on in the season, the Ottawa Charge head coach, I completely didn't explain this, but Carla McLeod is the coach for the Ottawa Charge. She was on track to get fired early on in the season and about midway through the season still. And she really turned this team around to get them to the finals this season. because they weren't very good last season.
No, they weren't.
No, they've
improved a lot this season.
They've improved a lot, but because they're in the finals, there was a sign in the crowd during game 1 that was like, Carla was right about everything.
Yeah.
And it was such a cute moment because one of the other commentators, Cheryl, was like, man, I need one of those to take a picture of to send to my husband anytime he's like arguing with me or whatever. And their on-ice personnel, I don't know your name, I'm so sorry, sir, made one. And then they panned to him in the crowd with one that was like, Cheryl was right. And
I was smiling
loved
so
it.
big. It was so cute.
I loved it so much. The signs were so good.
I love
so
that.
good. Also, Carla has been nominated for Coach of the Year, which
Deserved.
approved. To the actual game part. The PWHL already has very close games, and a lot of them go into overtime because the skill level is just so high.
Yeah.
Which
And it's going to get higher.
It's going to get higher.
And Vancouver.
Which I did figure out how they're going to do the draft, the expansion draft, and we can talk about that if you want. But
we can talk about that when we do a draft episode.
yeah, you're so right. We should definitely do a draft episode. They were scoreless in game 1 until about halfway through the second period, where Rebecca Leslie scored for Ottawa, the Ottawa native on that team. That crowd was insane.
Yeah.
Like, insane. I loved it so much. The Ottawa goalie came out of the net to play the puck in the third, though. Kind of turned it over, and then Minnesota scored on an empty net.
We don't have to talk about that, though.
Yeah.
Mistakes happen.
Himlarova scored for Minnesota, tied the game with 4.3 seconds remaining.
Dang.
In the game, like in regular time. 2 players really got into it, Thompson and Vanashova. Thompson got some swings in. Let me just say,
girl.
And I love it because they don't
fight a lot.
Well, they also have cages. So it's kind of, if you're swinging and hitting, you're hitting metal. You're not hitting a face. Outside of the one fight that happened this season, which was
And was she hitting
incredible.
metal?
No, I'm pretty sure she ripped her helmet off.
There we go.
And that's on period. And they went into overtime. Emily Clark scored the game-winning goal for Ottawa, her second game in a row, scoring a game-winning goal.
She's our savior, for real.
I stand Emily Clark with my whole heart. And I got a storm surge from Ottawa, which is great because
we're owed one.
I'm not feeling like I'm ever going to get one from the Canes ever again. But that's
dramatic. They'll win one game at least next season. It's not giving they're going to win any in this playoff run, though.
Yeah.
Round 3.
We'll talk about that in a second. Game 2 of this series, though, insane. They were scoreless. Oh, also, I want to note first, if you watched the Panthers Maple Leafs the last game, that game 7. Oh, there's the rain.
Is that rain or is that hell?
That's rain.
Hydrated cloud.
If you watched that game 7, you probably saw that Justin and Hailey Bieber were there in the crowd. Hailey looked great. Justin was there.
Yeah.
Jamie Fine and her fiance were at this game 2 in Ottawa, dressed up as them.
It was uncanny how close they were.
Perfect. They then changed outfits to be the opposite person. I loved it. It was so funny. It was so funny. They saw their chance and they took it. And
they nailed it. They fully committed to the bit. It was hilarious.
Live, laugh, love. Also, Olmark was there. I think he wasn't dressed up. He did have on an Ottawa hat, but a Charge hat. But
I wouldn't be dressed up either. If I was a celebrity, I would be going so incognito.
I mean, he was sitting in a VIP section down at the ice with just him and his wife at a table.
They didn't bring the kids.
And they may have. I just didn't see.
All right.
I also have down one quote from the commentators. Anytime you can pop it, you can drop it. And
that's
said
period.
That. And that's actually going to be my life motto from now on.
You can actually pop lock and drop it.
Yeah.
If you're able.
Yeah.
And if you're willing.
Now, were they talking about a puck into a net? Sure. But I feel like
that's a metaphor for life.
I feel like that applies to so many aspects of life.
It's applicable to several categories.
Yes, absolutely. Anyways, they were scoreless throughout the whole game until 2 minutes and 35 seconds left in the third.
Yeah.
Where Ottawa scored Jocelyn the Rock's first goal of the season and her first goal with Ottawa.
We love it. We love a debut.
It was beautiful. Wow, I can tell I got excited with my notes here because my handwriting gets 10 times worse. Minnesota got a power play with 36.7 seconds left in the third period. I said, can they tie it? Yes, they can.
I can tell you're excited because you are yelling.
Sorry. Can they tie it? Yeah, they can. Britta Karlsson scored with 15.4 seconds left to tie the game.
Way to do your job.
I loved it, but yeah.
I don't love her.
I don't love what she stands for, but I do love that she can like actually be there for her team.
She can do her job.
Yeah. And then they went to overtime with 3 minutes left in overtime. She scores again to win the game. Sorry.
Keep in mind, I did not stay up for the third period, so when I got up the next morning and looked at the score and the highlights, I was like, dadgummit! What the frick?
Yeah, it was great. I stayed up. It was fantastic. I loved it. Okay. So this feels like a good time to pause.
I'm gonna cry.
For the people that strictly listen to the audio of our podcast, Lauren just dropped and spilled her coffee all over the floor. We needed to take a break, so this feels like the perfect window to talk about what's happened in Game 3 of the PWHL Finals. Emily Clark scored in the first period on Ottawa's first shot of the game, or first shot on goal of the game. Also to point out, during the third period, Channel, Watkins, and McMahon had their masks get stuck together and they couldn't come undone. The refs didn't blow play dead. They were in the middle of a scoring opportunity, and apparently you don't blow the play dead for that, which makes sense, but also doesn't. It was funny, though, to watch them be like, I mean, what the frick are we supposed to do? Our masks are stuck together. They're just pointless. Meanwhile, people are taking shots on goal right next to them. It was funny. I've never seen that happen, but I'm sure that's happened before. So they go into overtime, and then they go into another overtime, and then they go into a third overtime. I will say in the first overtime, Teralova's helmet came off, but she stayed on the ice and continued to play until a ref told her to get off the ice. She picked up her helmet, and then the puck came near her, so she dropped her helmet to try to play it. That seems like a penalty to me, but nothing was called. And then in the third overtime, Emily Clark was playing the puck behind the net and got cross-checked into the boards. And so Ottawa had a power play. However, they were not able to capitalize on it. But Knoll scores in the third overtime to win it for Minnesota, who now leads the series 2-1. If Minnesota wins the game on Monday night, they will win the Walter Cup. Spoiler, it will be on our story. The game will have already happened by the time you're hearing this. But this will be their second consecutive Walter Cup championship if they do it. Alternatively, Ottawa could win this game and push a Game 5. So we're back.
Yeah, I dropped my fucking coffee and then I almost cried, and so Abby made me a new coffee because she's a really good coffee maker. And then I went and stared in the mirror and choked back tears because I didn't put this makeup on just to cry it away.
We're having a really great day.
Basically, the emotional... You've heard of a puke and rally? I give you choke back tears and rally. I give you never back down, never what.
I have actually never been able to puke and rally ever in my life.
God.
If I go down, I'm staying down.
I can puke and rally, but when the party's over, it's going to be a whole business day.
I actually, this is completely off topic, but I'm going to say it anyways. When I drink, the alcohol never hits me. It does, but it doesn't fully ever hit me until I'm home. And then all of us, I think I let my guard down, and that's on social anxiety. I get home, I let my guard down, and I'm drunk. And I am laying on the bathroom floor. But I made it.
You don't lay, you sit.
I sit
poise.
because if I lay, I'm going to throw up.
Exactly.
That's a little bit about me.
I can puke and rally. It comes with the territory. I've been drinking since I was way underage.
Yeah, that's it. I fear normal.
Yeah. I don't drink like that. The moment that my lips start getting numb and the moment that going to get another tattoo sounds like an idea, that should be invested today, I stopped. I swapped to water.
Yeah, that's actually so real.
And I don't do shots now except for big occasions.
Oh, I love a shot.
No. I like a sweet little beverage where you really can't taste the alcohol. All right.
Should we get into the NHL?
Yeah.
I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off. Let's talk about the Canes-Panthers series first. I don't know.
I have a couple things I want to say from the closure of the Maple Leafs Panthers series.
Okay, get into it.
And I know that we've talked about a couple of them, and then I have like a completely unrelated one that I want to say. What did he say? After the Panthers won that series, Marchand said on an interview that they had belief that they could win. And I, even though I was in pain, cackled so hard.
Yeah.
That was so freaking funny. And he said it twice to make sure that they got the joke. And
yeah.
It was hilarious. And something that's not funny, haha, something necessary, though, is the way that Paul Maurice, who I like him, and Marchand were talking about how the Toronto fan base, how intense they are and how they need to relax and like let the players actually enjoy playing hockey. And I think Marchand is the one that said that Toronto's the only stadium where the home team is at a disadvantage. Their behavior with like the burning jerseys and the booing, it's a bit much. Like, calm down.
Like, at the end of the day, this is a game.
At the end of the day, you can't do what they're doing. So why don't you just, instead of being a douchebag and making sure that they know how upset you are, why would you not just be like, we tried, we came, we saw, we tried. It wasn't enough. It wasn't very good, but hey, that's life.
I think too, like, if you are burning your jersey or throwing it on the ice.
Or throwing stuff on the ice when they're trying to play.
I'm just like.
And it wasn't even the extremist. It was the whole arena.
Like, I'm pretty pissed off at the Canes just in the way that they're playing or the lack thereof. But I'm not going to burn a jersey or throw stuff on ice. Like, I'm
not going to forsake my team.
Instead, I'm like, dang, the Panthers really got one on us. Or two.
Yeah. I'm like, we are crumbling.
Yeah. But I did really like that Paul Maurice and Marchand. I say his name differently.
His name's so unique.
I say it differently every time it comes out of my mouth. It always sneaks up on me.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that they were like, they're not. It wasn't like, we beat them, and in some cases we beat them by a lot. But it's not. They aren't. They were terrible.
Like, it's close games. It's closer than the fans realize.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated that.
And they didn't have to say that at all. They could have
Absolutely not.
They could have very easily said, man, we screwed them over disrespectfully.
They said, you know what happens when a leaf falls? It ends up on the ground. But instead they were like, hey, ease up, you guys.
Yeah. Which I do. It did give me a bit more respect.
Even Catchup talked about it. I was like, I love playing. Yeah.
With that dumbass haircut. He's so hot.
Loosen
it's so
up
annoying.
On his haircut. I know it's bad, but dang. He was talking about how he loves playing in Florida because the environment and the fans are so like laid back, and how he could never play in Toronto with that environment.
Yeah. I think a lot of people couldn't play in Toronto.
I didn't understand why no one wanted to play in Toronto until basically seeing their behavior.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to riot, just riot.
Yeah. Don't talk about it, be about it.
I just
look at
Vancouver. Like it. But you know what is a fun fact?
What?
Guess what family had the highest scoring record in the NHL this season?
I suddenly don't remember any families in the NHL ever. The Catchups? No.
No.
Oh. Just in the NHL?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. The Shin brothers? No.
Okay, you've gotten 2 strikes. It's the Hughes family.
Oh, no shit.
Quinn got the most.
Why did I forget that they exist?
You blinked so hard. Quinn had 76 points, Jack had 70, and Lukey Pookie had 44. The Stroms were second, though. And then I think the Catchups were third. Those were my fun facts. The only other thing I have to comment on is the Jets and Stars.
I have some less fun facts.
Yeah.
The Canes,
Rachel's thrilled.
Yeah.
You're in the minority there, girl, but that's okay.
Like, much love. I'm really glad you're having fun. I'm not. So I'm glad somebody's having fun here.
Yeah.
The Canes haven't won an Eastern Conference final game since 2000. I wrote down 2006, but I'm pretty sure it's 2009. They've been swept their last 2 appearances in the Eastern Conference Finals.
It's a good thing history doesn't repeat itself.
Yeah, history has never been known to repeat itself ever. Yeah, I will say if history's going to repeat itself, Rod Brindamore needs to get out there because he actually scored the game-winning goal the last time that they won a game in the Eastern Conference Finals. So it's time for you to take matters into your own hands.
We need you.
Please.
We need you desperately.
I saw him play in the alumni game.
He's got it, okay?
He can still play. You know who can't play?
Literally any of the Canes players. They're systematically disabling that entire team.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how they're doing it.
Let me fix this camera.
Like, I don't even know if they know how to hockey. Like, I get it. If you want to be on vacation, just say so. But, like, damn, do you think we could score?
Yeah. Chatfield's out. He hasn't played a single game in this series. Scott Murrow's in.
Oh, my God. I forgot that Scott Morrow was back.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. So we'll talk about game 1.
Game 1's easier to talk about than game 2.
Not really, because game 2, they just walked us like dogs.
No, but game 1, it's like, okay, we're a bit rusty. We'll get them next time.
Yeah.
And then game 2, I was like, well, we ain't getting nothing.
Yeah.
Except a ticket home.
A plane ticket back home, yeah.
I'm too scared to put my drink back on that table. I've been burned.
I think that's fair. We just made a lot of mistakes in game 1, allowing the Panthers to score. Ekblad scored off of an overturn by Stahl right in front of the net. I wrote down Stahl has not been playing well or with much energy, but honestly, nobody has been.
No
one has
there's been
been.
no energy from our side.
There's been literally none.
I think I could show up and play with more energy. Mostly because I'd be tripping and falling.
I'm delusional, but I don't have a death wish. So I'm going to pass on that. But yeah, they also scored on a power play in the first. I'll talk about this because this is going to hurt less, I guess. I said, what the fuck are we doing here? And I want you to know I'm saying that as Luke Hughes is.
Fuck are we doing here?
Fuck are we doing here? They had Reinhardt mic'd up, and that brought me some joy. I wish we mic'd up more players.
I know, I do like that.
Because it was so funny. He was like, great job, great job.
His reactions were like me watching it.
He seemed, dare I say, a little baby girl. But
dare I say a little passenger on his own journey. It was like he was a live audience member, and it was an interactive experience.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. So here's the big thing that happened in game 1. Marchand and Ghosty kind of got into it. Mm-hmm. So Brad Marchand had a late hit on Marchand. Brad Marchand had a late hit on Shane Gostisbehere. He didn't get much on him, but it was like the intent was to hit him pretty hard.
But he's a wee little guy.
Ghosty was pissed, understandably. Now, less understandably, he shot the puck at Marchand.
Marchand.
That's how I said it that time.
Marchand.
Marchand.
Do you want to just call him Brad?
No.
Okay, I'll just stop correcting you. We'll get to see how many. Y'all start a tally. How many different ways does she say his name?
I'm going to pop up a tally. He shot the puck at Marchand, like at center ice. Keep your facial expressions to yourself.
I am not known for keeping my facial expressions to myself.
Anyways, Brad was like, I'm going to fuck you up. Brad dropped his gloves immediately and went after Shane. Why am I now referring to them as their first names? You've gotten in my head. This is why I couldn't play the Panthers, because I get in my own head so easily. The last thing I need is Matthew Catchup yelling at me. And I'd be like, you're right, I do suck.
I'd be like, talk to me when I can talk to your barber. You want to have a conversation? Great, let's talk.
Let's
talk as we walk.
I would get kicked out.
Dude, if there's one thing I could be, it's a hell of a chirper.
Yeah. Back to this real quick. I gotta focus up on what I'm trying to say. Brad dropped the gloves. Ghosty didn't. They still both got some hits in on each other. Here's the bit that's been the most controversial. Brad Marchand got a game misconduct, and they got matching roughing penalties, but only Brad got ejected from the game. I feel like I feel like it should have been even on both sides.
I don't feel like he should have gotten kicked out of the game.
I don't feel like he should have gotten kicked out of the game either. I think they both should have gotten like 2 minors each.
I agree.
Roughing.
Or just like if you're going to kick Brad Marchand out, kick out Shane Gossens.
I think
kick
it
them both
should,
out.
it
I think
should
it
have
was
been
equality.
an even.
Because he didn't do anything
More
that wrong. Like it was
He
equal.
didn't. Yeah.
If anything, Ghosty deserved to get ejected.
I agree.
But I ain't blind and I ain't deaf and I couldn't be a ref.
It was. Hey, period. Throughout all this, too, I got to be careful with my words here because I like
Why? It's our podcast.
I like Taylor Hall.
I loved when he begged for mercy.
I lost a bit of respect for him because throughout all this, all the officials are trying to get him in the boxes, decide what they're doing, whatever. Taylor Hall goes over to the Panthers bench and is talking to Catchup and Sam Bennett, I believe. It's either Bennett or Reinhardt.
One of the Sams.
And at first I couldn't tell if they were tripping each other or what. Turns out Hall was basically like not begging for mercy, but like asking them to let up a bit. And I just lost a bit of respect for him in that moment.
Taylor, this is the 3rd round.
This is the conference finals.
Sir, this is a step away from the championship. There will be no mercy.
Yeah.
There will only be reputation.
Also, when all of this was going down, the Panthers were up 4-1. Like,
yeah.
Let's all calm down a bit. Stahl and Mikkola also got into it a little bit.
I don't like Mikkola.
Yeah.
He gets away with a lot of dirty stuff.
He does. Yeah, he does. And this was the first game that they had lost at home this postseason.
Well, they saved it for a good time. Saved it for when it mattered, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, and so then in game 2, the Panthers shut out the Canes in Raleigh. Jankowski's back, so Kokeniemi was scratched. I'm not having fun.
I'm not having fun either. Where is my Kokeniemi?
I wrote down my train of thought because I was typing all these on my phone. Mm-hmm. I was like literally typing, Svechny needs to stop giving the puck away. Oh, look, now he's gotten a penalty for roughing. Oh, look, the Panthers scored on the power play.
We need to get our shit together.
We do need to get our shit together or we're going to get swept again.
I don't know if they're just tired or
like
if they're at the end of what they're capable of this season. But like, can we get a last wind?
Did someone put a curse on them seasons ago to not do well in conference finals? Because we've been incredible. We've been great. We've been good.
Yeah.
Through the postseason. And then, like, literally what is happening here? It made me feel like I was watching the Leafs-Panthers series again. Yeah, Sam Reinhart left the game. He, I don't fully know what happened to him because, quite frankly, I turned on the the PWHL game.
Yep.
At this point. Aho scored. It was overturned. They pulled Freddie Anderson after the second period and put Kochekov in. Clearly.
It didn't save us.
No. Towards the end of the game, Lusterinen from the Panthers elbowed Jackson Blake in the back of the head.
And that's my baby right there.
Yeah,
That's my rookie. That's my rookie.
Yeah. He got a penalty for that. The bare minimum.
Bare minimum.
Jarvie also took a blindside hit and went down the tunnel.
Well, he's a bit small, so I can understand how it would be hard to see him.
We love coping with humor.
That's the only way I know how to cope.
And by the end of that game, Raleigh, the fans were chanting, shoot the puck. Because
you were chanting, shoot the puck.
I was yelling it at the screen, it's true. Because in 2 periods,
they were just passing it like hot potato.
In 2 periods, they had 7 shots on goal, and 4 of those were by defensemen.
It's like we're trying to cosplay as a different team. Like the Canes, one of their big things is they always outshoot the other team. Shoot the freaking puck. We're already down 3.
Yeah.
It can't get much worse. We're at the gates of hell.
Yeah, so we're recording on Saturday. They play tonight in Sunrise. So
should we have a flower drop?
Yeah, we're going to be drinking tonight. I think we both deserve a drink.
I think so too. I've had a day. I dropped my coffee. It's been a week.
I would love more than anything to say that they really turned things around in game 3, but quite the opposite happened. The Panthers won game 3 6-2, so they now lead the series 3-0. Game 3, the Canes played a lot better in the first 2 periods, and honestly, I think they controlled the first 2 periods. Kochetkov was the starting goaltender, Kokeniemi was back, and Roslovic was scratched this game. Kochetkov made some insane saves about 7 minutes in on Verhaeghe and Bennett, absolutely robbed them. It was then followed by a tripping penalty of him tripping Rodriguez, where Mikkola scored first in the game. And then Luostarinen boarded Jackson Blake, and he looked rough. Like, he went down the tunnel. I think he also got an elbow in on him too. It looked rough. He did come back eventually. Earlier on in that play, Luostarinen should have gotten called for hooking. He ended up getting a 5-minute major and a game misconduct for boarding, so he was ejected from the game. I feel like that was the right call. Blake did come back out and play the rest of the game, so he's fine. Stankoven did score on a power play in the second period to tie the game. Also, in case you missed it, during the second intermission, Brad Marchand was eating a Dairy Queen Blizzard in the locker room. Honestly, he's just a kid. He's just a kid trapped in a grown man's body. The third period was a bloodbath, and honestly, it's the Hurricanes' fault. They completely crumbled. The Panthers scored 5 goals in the third period. At least one of them was a turnover at center ice by Taylor Hall, or Boquist scored off of. And then the Panthers had 2 goals back-to-back within like 30 seconds, I believe. And after the 4th goal of the period being scored by the Panthers, just 10 minutes and 37 seconds in, Catchup goes after Aho pretty much from the face-off and hit Aho. And the Canes didn't really stand up for him at all. It was really weird. They never went after Catchup at a different point. I didn't see any extra hits on Catchup because of it. They didn't do shit. Apparently, that kind of stems from the Aho hit on Reinhart in game 2, but I don't know. Later, an article was released, and it essentially said the Canes regret not standing up for Aho after he was, quote, missiled by Catchup, which is kind of crazy. You've probably seen the clip of Catchup in the box, and him and Aho are having a stare down, and he motions to Aho to keep his head up, keep on lookout. And then Aho put his mouth guard fully in, and I was scared. And Seth Jarvis scored on the power play from that. Now, what's confusing to me is they didn't announce extra penalties off of that Catchup-Aho situation, but apparently Jackson Blake got a roughing against Sam Bennett. Sam Bennett got a roughing against Jackson Blake in there as well. And then Svechnikov and Sam Bennett got into it a bit. Sam Bennett took a run at Svechnikov, didn't get anything on him or anything, but Svechy was a bit upset, and so he slashed him. And then Bennett kind of showed him who he was messing with. Neither one of them dropped the gloves. They both got game misconducts. I don't think that they should have gotten misconducts for that, but I think that the refs were trying to get control of the game and keep it from becoming an actual bloodbath, even though the Panthers were up 5-2, I believe, at this point. Also, if you're wondering what happened to Greer, he went at Stahl at center ice, also in the third period. And while they both went down, Greer definitely got the worst of it. Stahl didn't look phased at all. He got back up and continued playing, but Greer's left leg looked pretty shaken up. He got back out on the next shift and pretty immediately skated to the bench and didn't come back out, went down the tunnel. And it looks like that's still bothering him because it was just announced that Mikkola, Reinhart, and Greer will not be playing in Game 4, which is going to happen in just a few hours after I'm editing this. So look at our Instagram if you want to see who won. This Game 4 is the Panthers' opportunity to sweep the Hurricanes and go to the Stanley Cup Finals. But if the Canes can somehow win this game, they'll go back home and play Game 5 at home. And y'all know I'm a Canes fan, but personally, they haven't been playing like they want to win. And I think it's inevitable for the Panthers to go to the Stanley Cup Finals. I hate to say it, but I think they're a shoo-in at this point. Yeah, oh my gosh. My side note to reinvent the NHL that I had while watching it. I'll save it for the end.
Okay.
Because now we have the Stars-Oilers series. I've enjoyed this one.
I have enjoyed the series. I do. Are you going to talk about the Mark Sheffley? Or did we talk about that in the last one? I can't remember.
What about him? I can't remember what he did.
Watching him cry. After this, who was it? The Jets and the Stars in their final game when they lost and were eliminated. You know, his dad died.
Oh,
I think we had talked about that a little bit.
I did talk about it because Adam Lowry had to go get him out of the penalty box.
Yeah, and he was crying, and like the goalie was like apologizing for letting the final puck get in, and that was really hard to watch. I couldn't remember if we had talked about that, but it's been over a week and it's still haunting me.
Yeah,
so
in a way,
I hope he's doing okay.
In a way, I'm like, okay, his season's done. Now he can
grieve.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
because imagine like him still having to play, and like I just can't imagine losing my dad. Period. Yeah. So
he's actually unkillable. So that'll never happen. He will live forever.
He will live forever.
Semi-wealthy and blessed.
Yes. All right. The Stars-Oilers series is tied 1-1 each. Duh.
I want to go to a Stars game next season.
Me too. I was in the Dallas airport when I was going for work, and they have like a Stars merch area, but this was around the Rantanen time, so I couldn't.
Boo.
So I was like, ugh.
We were like,
hate you. And now he's had his redemption arc, and so I'm like, oh, I'd love to go. Oh.
I don't chant. I don't participate in the national anthem often, but I would because I want to yell Stars. I actually was thinking about that as I was coming semi-conscious this morning. Not sure what I dreamed about, but I was thinking about their anthem and how they scream Stars. And then I was like mentally rehearsing the national anthem. It's just a day in the life.
We have plans to go to quite a few
games
the money, though? This coming up season.
Yeah.
The money, I can find the money.
You can't take it with you when you die. So.
I can't take it with me when I go. And I could die at any second, you know?
Yeah. My will to live directly correlates with how many trips I have planned.
Yeah. Accounting. Anyways, this series, game 1, they are no longer the hat trick heroes. The Stars are now the comeback story Stars.
Oh, I was gonna do their more Finns, more wins with their 5 Finns starting lineup.
Maybe because if here's my train of thought about the whole Kotkaniemi getting scratched.
I love Kotkaniemi.
I like him a lot too.
No, I love him.
I would say I love him too.
I don't like him. I love KK. That's my guy.
I like him. But if he's getting scratched, and I was looking at the Canes roster, it is pretty stacked. And if they come in healthy next season, like somebody's going to have to get traded. Because Kotkaniemi's too good to not play. However, they have too many other players that are also too good to not play. He could go to Dallas. More Finns, more wins is his whole thing.
Why do we have to keep giving away our Finns? I like my Finns.
I don't know.
They belong in Raleigh.
They all belong together.
Whether you're happy about it or not.
Yeah.
And just think, if the Finns that are in the playoffs were on the Finland team for the IIHF, they would have won the damn thing.
I can't believe Finland didn't do as well during Four Nations.
I know. But a lot of guys were, I don't know. They weren't playing all out, you know, because there's the second half of the season.
I guess that's fair. They weren't like willing to die on the ice like Canada and US were.
Yeah.
They were
and you
like,
know what, Canada, I'm so happy they won that. I'm fine if the US wins this one because I haven't seen hardly anything annoying about it. Anyways, to get back on track.
Anyway, we have been so far off track. I can't find the track anymore.
I'm actually in the wilderness.
I'm lost. Game 1.
I have no cell reception.
If you... If you have no cell reception, you might not know that the Stars scored 5 goals in the third period of game 1.
You would if you followed our TikTok.
Yeah. So, where to start? So, it was 3-1 Oilers going into the third. The Oilers very much controlled the first and second period. The Stars were, they weren't doing much of anything.
Nah.
But they started the third period on a power play and scored 32 seconds in.
That power play continued for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, essentially.
I think it ended up being like 15 minutes, but still. Where they scored in like a 15-minute time frame, all their fives.
I'll tell you how much. So they scored 32 seconds into the third. Less than 2 minutes later, they scored again. And less than 2 minutes after that, they scored a third time. In total, they scored 5 goals in the third period, 3 on power plays, and 1 empty net goal. That second power play, or that third goal scored, it was so funny. I'm sure you've seen it because I think I've sent you stuff. Duchesne shot at the net as like Rupee Hintz is going down.
Yeah.
He hit Hintz in the back.
Yeah.
And then it rebounded right back to him, so he shot it in and scored.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the slow-mo play of his facial expression getting hit in the back with the puck, he's like, oh my God. And then he realized it goes in, and his slow smile and turn towards him was adorable.
You know how, oh my God, what is it? What are the animals that are really slow?
Sloths.
You know how, like, in Zootopia, when you're going to the bank and the sloth is like, or the DMV, the sloth, the dude like tells him a joke and the sloth goes, like a slow-mo laugh. That's exactly what it reminded me of.
It was so funny. I loved it so much.
Yeah, me too.
Also in post-game press, Duchesne and Seguin were... I never know which one it is.
I just call him Tyler in my head.
Duchesne and Tyler, Seguin. Sequin.
You know, Kate's husband.
Yeah.
Did you see her TikTok of her Dallas boots?
They're so cute.
God, they're so cute.
Okay, I follow the girl that made them, and so I knew they were coming because I saw her making them, the process of her making them.
They're stunning.
Yeah. So they were getting interviewed together or whatever, and Duchesne gets asked about it, and he basically said, like, next time, hopefully, I'll put it in the net first instead of shooting my teammate in the ass. And he doesn't, like, ever cuss, and especially not in media. And Seguin literally goes, he looked like a kid in a candy shop. His reaction was so good.
Oh, wait, I have seen that.
Yeah, it was so adorable.
I saw that late last night. By late, I mean 9:30.
Yeah. I will also say
it.
In this game, Stars fans did start chanting USA.
Why do they have to ruin a good thing?
None of the goals scored were by Americans.
No. I think you
3
mean
of them were
let's
scored
go
by
Finns. More Finns, more wins.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because USA, okay. Where are your players that have scored? Show me.
None of the American players have scored.
So that's ignorance is bliss, I hear.
It's a hot take. Let's go.
It's a dumb take. I wish they would stop.
At the end of the game, though, they got into it. Pretty much everybody on ice got into it. I have quite a few things that were going on at the same time. So number 1.
I don't know. You'll see it when you edit. You went like... And what is your point?
So number 1, Bishop and Perry, a 40-year-old and a 21-year-old.
It was so stupid.
Got into it with each other. Perry basically like puts him
after the clock ended too.
Yeah, there was like 2 seconds left in the game. But anyways,
it was reminiscent of the Habs and the Capitals. And
yes,
they're like after the second
but not like psycho.
Yeah.
So Bishop's like on the ice with his head in his hands, like crouched over, and Perry's like getting some jabs in on him or whatever. It was funny because Perry mocked him after they got separated, and he's like, whoa. It was,
but also
funny.
You're twice his age. Why are you trying to beat up a child?
He had a late hit in on a Oilers player.
Like, it was stupid. It was stupid.
The whole thing was stupid. Also,
embarrassing.
That's going on over here. We've got Bach and Stretcher who are rolling around on the ice. It was giving cues. They were kind of just flipping each other over on the ice. I'm like, just kiss. It was funny. And then right next to them, Labushkin and I'm going to butcher your name. I'm so sorry. As if you're ever going to see this. Podklosin?
That's a hell of a name.
We're basically spooning on the ice too. Like,
oh,
yeah.
We just wanted to hug.
They just wanted to hug. So all of that's going on while confetti falls because the Stars have won the game.
Confetti was so stupid for a game one.
Well, I think they do that after every game.
That's just ridiculous. I say that, but I wish that the Hurricanes would do a storm surge after they win.
Yeah.
I'm owed one.
I am owed one.
Ottawa showed up and gave me one. What's yours?
I guess I'll just support the Charge over you.
Yeah, I guess I'll just fuck off and watch confetti fall.
Yeah, all of this, the confetti's falling, and then the camera cuts to the bench, and it's Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and the look that they shared.
They had the biggest what the fuck just happened
They were
look.
Flabbergasted in every meaning of the word. It was.
I swear they share one brain cell when they're on ice.
Yeah, that was the exchange of custody, I fear. In that look. It was so funny.
So freaking funny.
It was whoever was producing that game and was like, cut to the bench. Thank you.
Work of art. You really did it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the Oilers were a bit pissed.
Understandably.
Because they lost a game that they very much should have won.
Yeah.
And so they shut out Dallas at home in game 2.
What was it? 3-0?
3-0.
Yeah.
I only have a couple notes because I didn't watch this game.
That game wasn't that exciting.
There were other things that were on. Yeah. So Connor Brown actually got hit in the mouth by Grunland's skate. He's going down in a corner.
Oh, I didn't see that.
And yeah, he started bleeding. But he did come back and score. So
and I love that.
In the second. Yeah, he put them up 3-0 in the second period, so pop off.
You raise me up.
Can you tell we grew up Southern Baptist?
No, they won't know that. That's a Southern Baptist hymn for y'all.
That one comes with generational trauma. You got to upgrade to the deluxe package for that one.
If you didn't go to vacation Bible school against your will, you won't know about it.
Yeah, how many times have you been baptized? If you're under 3, you don't get to know that song. How many times have you been
to the Southern Baptist Convention? Exactly.
Have we been to that?
The choir, baby.
Oh.
And you know what? There were some banger tracks.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brett Kulakak.
Are you sure?
No, Brett Kulak scored his first goal in 36 games during this. I gotta calm down. And then early in the third period, Rupe Hintz was slashed by Darnell Nurse.
Yeah.
It hit like the top of his left skate. He immediately went down and started grabbing his foot. Darnell Nurse looked a bit concerned, but also like, whatever.
He looked a bit, who? What?
What?
Oh my gosh, are you okay? What's going on?
Sarah Nurse would never. Actually, she would, but she would get away with it because she'd be discreet.
Yeah.
And honestly, she can do no wrong, so whatever.
She can do wrong. She just hasn't yet.
Yeah. Oh, before I fully get into this, that Connor Brown goal and the Brett Kulak goal were scored just 73 seconds apart. Back to this. Nurse only got a minor penalty for slashing, and I don't believe that Hintz came back to that game at all. I think he's actually being evaluated. In the post game, after that whole incident, Pete DeBoer, who I actually stan, he just has kind eyes.
Hey, say less.
Yeah. Pete DeBoer was asked about his opinion on the penalty and if he thought that it was valid, if he thought that Nurse should have been penalized more, and he had a
great perspective.
He had a great response. He was like, if that happened to Connor McDavid, it would have been either a double minor or a major.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like,
And it would have.
So do you think that it was like a fair penalty? And he was like, if it had happened to McDavid, things would have been different. And he's completely right, in my opinion.
He is completely right.
I think it probably should have been a double because he left injured. There was an injury on the plate. It should have at least been a double minor.
It was pretty blatant slashing, too.
Yeah, which Nurse, he do be slashing.
He loves a slash.
But, yeah. The Oilers also dominated in Game 3 in Edmonton, winning 6-1, and they now lead the series 2-1. Roope Hintz did take part in warm-ups, but did not play during the game, which is a big disadvantage for the Stars because he is second in scoring for them. That glance between McDavid and Draisaitl must have shifted something in the universe because they have been insane ever since that end of Game 1 look of despair between each other. Connor McDavid had 2 goals in Game 3. Heineman had 2 goals in Game 3. Jason Robertson was given credit for the sole goal scored by Dallas. He didn't actually even know about that until in post-game media somebody asked him about it, and he was like, that was my goal. I had no idea, so I have no thoughts on it because I didn't even know that was my goal. According to fans on TikTok, calling penalties was optional in this game. Now, that's not a reliable source, but it is what it is. After the game, Pete DeBoer said something that I actually quite like. He said, there's nothing to get emotional or upset about. I think that you have to be realistic with your group. I liked our compete tonight. I liked a lot of parts of our game, and we've got to build on that and hopefully get Roope Hintz back in this series. He also goes on to say, we don't have to win 3 games in this building, as in Edmonton, or we've just got to win 1 and win our home games. And I like that mindset. They just have to win 1 away game now. They're only down 1 away game. So we will see what happens in that series on Tuesday night. They will play Game 4. So, anyways, how are y'all doing with the playoffs? Are you doing well? I hope so. I'm not.
I have emotionally disengaged because, quite frankly, I'm a Habs and a Devils girly, and the Canes are not performing well enough for me to get emotionally invested.
Here's my thing with the Canes is I'm like, the way that we have been playing, they do not deserve to win.
Yeah.
So agreed. If you want to win, play like it.
Yeah. Give me something.
Yeah. I'd feel a lot different, or I did say that correctly.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I'd feel a lot differently. I'd feel a lot more different if they were playing well and Florida was playing dirty and getting away with it and winning because of it.
Yeah.
But they really haven't been.
No. They've been pretty clean.
They've been pretty clean.
They've been pretty playoffs clean.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a difference, as I have found out.
There is a difference, for sure. I did think of, I was watching the Charge Frost game, and I don't know why I thought of this, but I actually do know why, because their benches are on the other side of the camera, so, like, their backs are to the camera that shows the ice, as opposed to being across from it, like the NHL is. And I think it's just the Ottawa Arena that's like that. Anyways, I had this thought. What if the team benches were on opposing sides of the ice, and there was a penalty box on each side, and, like, your box was next to the opposing team's bench? What if we did it like that? What if we set it up like that? So then you're staring across the ice at the other team.
The only reason to do that would be for entertainment value.
Yeah.
Definitely not for player safety.
I forgot about that safety aspect. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about?
All I want to say is remember that if you can lock it, you can drop it. And
if you can pop it, you can drop it.
Well, if you can lock it, you can pop it. And if you can lock and pop it, then you can drop it. Therefore, algebraically speaking,
you can pop, lock, and drop it.
Exactly. You can also lock and drop it. You can also pop and drop it. Any variation.
Yeah.
It's at your discretion.
And with those words of wisdom, we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.